Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government vows to bring perpetrators of Plateau attack to justice. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno signs 2024 budget into law. Plus, U.S.-Mexico agree to keep border open as pressure mounts to limit crossings. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Our first report tonight is that Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno has signed the 2024 appropriation bill of 849.970 billion naira, christened the Arise budget for growth and expansion, into law. Governor No, who signed the bill into law during an expanded Executive Council meeting today at Government House Uyo, commended the state legislature for their painstaking consideration of the bill and working together with relevant departments of the executive arm to ensure thoroughness and timely passage, while soliciting more of such collaborations in the coming year with the ultimate goal of serving Akwa Ibom people. The governor, who stressed the need to pay greater attention to the revenue generation in the 2024 fiscal year than spending, said his administration was putting a lot in place to up the internally generated revenue of the state. He therefore urged the Ministry of Finance, Akwa Ibom State Internal Revenue Service (AKIRS), Ethical and Attitudinal Reorientation Commission (EACOM), and other agencies to step up efforts in mobilizing revenue for easy funding of the budget, affirming that the AKWAJES will soon be operational to aid taxation. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that earlier the State Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Linus Nkan, had explained that the proposed budget of 845.632 billion naira, originally presented to the House of Assembly by Governor Eno, was increased by the sum of 4.3 billion naira by the State Assembly, bringing the total budget size as signed into law by the governor to 849.970 billion naira for the year 2024. Away from that, the federal government has vowed that the perpetrators of the Christmas Eve killings in Bokos and Barakin Ladi local government areas of Plateau State would be arrested and made to face the full wrath of the law. Recall that gunmen attacked communities in the two local government areas on Sunday, killing over 100 persons. The Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, made the vow in a condolence message he personally signed.
That within the last 2 days, we have lost innocent people as a result of incessant attacks in parts of Mambu and Bokos, local government areas. As a matter of fact, my own intelligence is putting it at no less than 50 people. Let me say enough is enough. We cannot continue this senseless, stupid, unprovoked attacks. It is totally uncalled for.
Until we bring all those culpable for these dastardly acts to book. Clearance operations in conjunction with other security agencies would commence.
It is sad that
Meanwhile, the federal government has announced a planned closure of the Iyana Oworonshoki Adeniji Delhi section of the third mainland bridge from 11 a.m. on Tuesday, January 9, 2024. The Federal Controller of Works Lagos State Olukorede Keisha announced this today in a statement. Keisha said the closure would be done on the Lagos Island-bound carriageway of the bridge. She appealed to motorists to obey traffic rules and use alternative routes to prevent hardship as comprehensive repairs continue on the highway. In the meantime, the federal government, through the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC), has fined British American Tobacco (BAT) and its affiliate companies $110 million. The FCCPC said the fine is for alleged infringements of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act, National Tobacco Control Act, and sundry legal instruments. The Commission said the British company must subject itself to compliance and monitoring for a period of 24 months, mandatory public health and tobacco control advocacy, as well as provisions of written assurances to the Commission. According to the Commission, it carried out an order and warrant of search and seizure approved by a federal high court at BAT locations and the location of a service provider on January 25, 2021. In another development, President Tinubu and Senate President Godswill Akpabio are expected to grace the unveiling of Peace in the Southeast Project, PISEP, in Abia State. The chairperson, Media and Communications Committee of PISEP, Mary Ikoku, disclosed this in a statement, which was made available to newsmen in Umuahia. Ikoku described PISEP as a non-partisan advocacy organization working towards the restoration of peace in the Southeast through a non-kinetic approach. She stated that the unveiling ceremony would coincide with the grand reception organized in honor of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu. The chairperson also listed other prominent Nigerians that are expected at the event, to include the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and members of both chambers of the National Assembly. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on Nigerians to embrace each other to fight poverty, destitution, and backwardness in the country. Shettima gave the advice in Masaka, Nasarawa State today while commissioning the 5 kilometers Masaka-Luvu Road in Karu local government area of the state. The Vice President also stressed the need for all citizens to learn to live together in peace to enhance national security, progress, and development. Elsewhere, Vice President Kashim Shettima has commissioned the multi-million naira redesigned Kano Governor's Office complex at the Government House, Kano. The edifice included a redesigned council chamber, an executive conference hall, and a VIP lounge. Recall that the complex was constructed by the first military administrator of the state, late Commissioner of Police Audu Bako, in 1967. The Vice President was assisted by Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibril, and Senator Kawu Samaila, among others. Shettima commended the political commitment demonstrated by Yusuf to ensure the timely execution of the project, noting that the remodeling of the Governor's office with state-of-the-art equipment would provide a conducive working atmosphere for successive governors and staff to operate optimally. Now from the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives Minority Caucus has condemned the killing of over 70 people in Gashish and Rob districts of Barakin Ladi and Bokos local government areas of Plateau State. The Minority Leader Kingsley Chinder said the time has come to end the killings in the state. He urged the military and other security agencies to be unrelenting in tackling the crisis until victory is assured. In a statement he signed, the Minority Leader also called on the National Assembly security committees to commence a proper and detailed investigation into the persistent killings and proffer legislative solutions to end same. After the judiciary now, where a federal high court in Abuja today extended the December 15 interim order stopping the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from taking any step against the 26 Rivers House of Assembly members who defected to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Justice Donatus Okorowo extended the order following an application by counsel for the embattled lawmaker Steve Adehi San and supported by Ken Njemanze San, who appeared for the Rivers House of Assembly. Although PDP's lawyer Adeyemi Ajibade San opposed the application, Justice Okorowo agreed that based on Order 26, Rule 10 of the FHC, the court had the discretionary power to grant the plea in the interest of justice. The judge held that he was persuaded by the reasons given by Adehi and Njemanze that granting the order would be better in the interest of justice. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) has extolled its former president and former governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who died on Wednesday at the age of 67 after a protracted battle with cancer. The NBA, in a statement signed by its president Yakubu Maikiao, described the late Akeredolu, who served as the 24th president of the association from 2008 through 2010, as one of the most influential and courageous presidents ever to lead the NBA. Akeredolu was called to the bar in 1978 and had served the NBA in several capacities. He variously served as secretary and vice chair of Ibadan branch and went on to become the 24th president of the association. The late learned senior advocate also served as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice from 1997 through 1999 and later as two-term governor from 2017 till his demise. He died of complications arising from protracted prostate cancer, according to the Ondo State government. Let's head on to politics, where ahead of the February 3, 2024 by-elections, the Labour Party LP has released a timetable and schedule of activities for the contestants into Senatorial House of Representatives and State Assembly seats. According to the National Secretary of the Labour Party, Umar Ibrahim, the collection of forms commences on December 28, 2023 to end on January 4, 2024, while the primaries will be held on January 7, 2024. The party leadership also approved fees for both the expression of interest and nomination forms respectively as follows: Senate 1.5 million and 3.5 million naira, House of Representatives 1 million and 2 million naira, and House of Assembly 100,000 and 500,000 naira. It also exempted female aspirants and persons living with disabilities (PWDs) aspirants from payment of fees for the expression of interest forms only. Recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) had fixed February 3, 2024 for the conduct of by-elections resulting from the resignation or demise of members of the National and State Houses of Assembly. On security matters, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has issued operational licenses to 93 private guard companies (PGCs) in 2023 with a view to strengthening national security. The NSCDC Commandant General CG Ahmed Odi said this during an interview with newsmen at the Corps headquarters in Abuja. Odi said from the total number of 1,412 PGCs registered by the Corps, 92 were sealed across the country due to several operational violations, but had 24 of the defaulting PGCs later unsealed in the year under review. According to him, licensing, supervising, training and monitoring of PGC's operations is one of NSCDC's major mandate, of which the Corps has been able to fulfill. In another development, Abia State Governor Alex Otti has signed the 2024 appropriation bill of 567.2 billion naira recently passed by the State House of Assembly into law. While signing the bill today, Oti said the 2024 budget would move Abia from its current level of underdevelopment to development. He noted that the budget ratio of 84% for capital expenditure and 16% for recurrent was not a mistake, but a deliberate plan to accelerate the growth of Abia's economy within a short space of time. The governor maintained that every money borrowed to finance the budget would be channeled to capital expenditure, adding that the budget is expected to excite foreign and local investment, spur large-scale and medium businesses, secure the state and prepare Abia for the next level of development. In a related development, Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has signed into law the 2024 appropriation bill with an assurance that his administration is fully prepared to implement the budget for the realization of his administration's shared prosperity agenda. The 2024 appropriation christened Budget of Sustainable Growth and Development was presented to the governor by the Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Adeoye Ariba Shoye, and other principal officers at the ESCO chamber of the governor's office at Ekiti. The 2024 budget estimates 159.5 billion naira, out of which 56% is appropriated for recurrent expenditure and 44% for capital expenditure. Speaking while signing the budget, Oyebanji reiterated his administration's determination towards ensuring that the budget is fully implemented to drive sustainable growth and improve the standard of living for the people of Ekiti State. Meanwhile, Enugu State Governor Peter Mba signed the 521.5 billion naira Enugu State 2024 appropriation bill into law, saying it would engender disruptive economic growth, radical infrastructural development, and efficient service delivery. Mba, who said that the appropriation law consisting 414.3 billion naira capital expenditure, representing 79% of the budget, and 107.2 billion naira, representing 21% of the budget, would rely heavily on internally generated revenue IGR, charged members of the executive arm of government on robust revenue mobilization and service delivery. Speaking during the budget signing, which was witnessed by members of the State Assembly, led by the Speaker Uchenna Ugu, as well as commissioners and other top government functionaries at the Government House, Mba thanked members of the state legislature for their support across party lines. He said the expeditious passage of the budget was a product of executive legislature collaboration during the making of the budget estimates, listing the multiple gains expected from the budget.
We're going to be spending over 400 billion naira in the next year. So this is the first time in the state we are spending that size of funds for capital projects. We called this budget a budget of disruptive economic growth. And it's disruptive based on the reasons I've already given. The first time we're spending this size on our capex. It also means that we're going to have huge economic activities in Enugu State. So imagine an economy that is typically used to the spending of 20, 30 billion as capex, now going to witness a spend of 400 plus billion.
Away from that, Ondo State Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing Raimi Olaiwola has resigned his appointment. This is coming less than 24 hours after Lucky Ayedatiwa was sworn in as the new governor of Ondo State following the demise of Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Aminu, in a letter addressed to the Secretary to the State Government, Princess Oladuni, said his resignation takes effect from today. He added that his decision was anchored on his conscience as his leader, Keredolu, joined the saints triumphantly. Still to come in the news. Turkish lira hits record low. Do stay with us.
Christmas season is here again. Are you aware that making your business or products visible on the television space gives your brand a wider visibility and patronage? In the spirit of the season, Spectrum Television is offering a whopping 25% discount on all services. Advertise your products and services while this offer lasts from 1st December 2023 to January 31st, 2024. We are a television with a passion to take your business and services on a satisfactory lane. You do not want to miss this opportunity. For more enquiries, visit our city office at number 2 Taft Plaza Close off Akaitinen Road, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, or call the following numbers on your screen. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But
There's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon. For premium broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned. We move on now to Africa, where the presidency of the Southern African nation has said that Zambian Foreign Minister Stanley Kakubo has resigned amidst suspicions surrounding a business deal with a Chinese businessman. Having taken office in September 2021, Kakubo declared his decision to step down in a letter citing malicious allegations linked to a business transaction. The move followed the circulation of a viral video showing two individuals counting bundles of cash on a table. According to reports from the Chinese embassy in 2022, over $3 billion was invested by more than 600 Chinese companies in Zambia. So in Africa, 79 people have reportedly filed their candidacy for the February 2024 presidential election in Senegal before the Tuesday deadline. Reports say the number of applications submitted to the Constitutional Council has not been made public, but explains that the consignations received 79 applications. The applications include those of the main favorites for the 25th February 2024 election, Amadou Ba, a member of the ruling coalition and Senegal's current Prime Minister, imprisoned opposition figure Ousmane Sonko, and former Dakar Mayor Khalifa Sall, among others. Meanwhile, police in the Democratic Republic of Congo have clashed with opposition supporters demanding that last week's presidential poll be annulled. Meanwhile, leading opposition candidates have denounced the election as a sham and have demanded a rerun. Reports say several people were wounded as police fired tear gas and threw stones back at protesters in the capital, Kinshasa. Recall that the government banned the protests, saying it would not tolerate attempts to undermine the electoral process. In the meantime, Benin has lifted its suspension of imported goods transiting to Niger through the port of Cotonou, following 5 months of sanctions on the coup-hit country. Recall that the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Niger following a coup on July 26, which saw the military oust elected leader Mohamed Bazoum. Meanwhile, the measures have led to the closure of the border with Benin, which has seen a fall in revenues after the transport of goods to Niger via its ports was halted. Elsewhere, the Liberia's chief medical officer, Francis Kate, has said more than 40 people have died after a fuel tanker crashed and exploded in central Liberia. Reports say the tanker overturned along a road in Totota town, about 130 kilometers from the capital, Monrovia. According to eyewitnesses, it burst into flames soon after people rushed to the site to scoop fuel from the tanker. According to Dr. Kata, a pregnant woman was among the dead, and some of the bodies were burnt to ashes. Still in Africa, UN peacekeepers are deploying to the northwest of the Central African Republic, where 23 civilians were killed on December 21 in a massacre attributed to the 3R armed group. The UN mission explained that the blue helmets of the UN mission in the Central African Republic, MINUSCA, whose number was not specified, are progressing towards the village with the aim of reinforcing security in the area and facilitating humanitarian access to the population. The 3R armed group return, reclamation and rehabilitation is one of the most powerful of a multitude of rebel groups and criminal gangs terrorizing the population in this vast Central African country. On the foreign scene, Mexican and U.S. officials agreed to keep border crossings open. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said today after several key rail crossings were temporarily shuttered due to high numbers of migrants arriving at the Charlotte border. López Obrador said Wednesday's meetings with the U.S. delegation, which included Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, were direct due to the importance of border commerce for both countries. The talks come as a large caravan of migrants slowly headed toward the border with the hopes of gaining entry to the United States. So on the foreign scene, Colorado Republicans have appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court after the state's top court ruled that former U.S. President Donald Trump was ineligible to run for president. In its appeal, the Colorado Republican Party's legal team accused the state Supreme Court of fundamentally changing the course of American democracy. They noted that the decision would distort the 2024 presidential election and would mar courts henceforth in political controversies over nebulous accusations of insurrection. Reports say Colorado is the only U.S. state to strike Trump from the ballot under a U.S. constitutional clause called the 14th Amendment, prohibiting anyone engaging in insurrection or rebellion from holding public office. Recall that last week, the former president was disqualified from running in the state for his alleged role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Moving on now, the Palestinian Freedom Theater in the occupied West Bank will welcome actors back this weekend, just over a fortnight after an Israeli raid on the center sparked an international outcry. Its artistic director, Ahmed Tobasi, told reporters that the theater in Jenin refugee camp had become a symbol of Palestinian resistance against Israel's occupation of the West Bank. He said troops broke into and vandalized the small cultural center earlier this month during a wider raid on Jenin, leaving behind a trail of damage and Stars of David graffitied across the walls. The theater said soldiers also arrested several employees in their homes. Reports say Tabasi, who said he was among those detained, is now back at work and determined to keep the center open. Moving on now, a former senior official of China's central bank has been sentenced to more than 16 years in prison for corruption, according to financial reports citing a document released by prosecutors. Sun Guofeng, formerly head of the Monetary Policy Department of the People's Bank of China, exchanged information for bribes totaling 21 million yuan. According to Kaizen, Sun also used inside information about a Shanghai-listed company to make gains on the stock market. Recall that last month, Sun Daishun, the former president of the state-owned China CT Bank, was sentenced to life in prison for illegally receiving property valued at over $130 million. Elsewhere, Ukrainian authorities said today that a commercial ship arriving to collect grain hit a Russian naval mine in the Black Sea, injuring 2 sailors. According to Ukraine's border guards, the unnamed Panama-flagged ship was heading towards Ukraine's Danube ports when it hit a mine, causing it to lose speed and control and sparking a fire on the upper deck. Meanwhile, Ukraine has created a maritime corridor for commercial ships which first pass close to the shores of Bulgaria and Romania. The border force did not specify exactly when or where the incident happened. In the meantime, a Moscow court sentenced a poet today to 7 years in prison for reciting verses against the Ukraine campaign during an anti-mobilization protest last year. Artyom Kamadin, aged 33, was sentenced alongside Yegor Shodba, aged 23, who also took part in the protest and received a sentence of 5 years and 6 months. The two were seen behind a glass partition in a heavily guarded courtroom. Reports say just before his sentencing, a smiling Kamadin recited a poem that refers to poetry as gut-wrenching and is often disliked by people accustomed to order. So on the foreign scene, Britain has lifted some costly obstacles placed on school trips post-Brexit, but only for students from France, as campaigners called for all EU countries to benefit. The decision follows talks earlier this year over the issue between Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and French President Emmanuel Macron. French and EU nationals at schools in France who cross the Channel for a language learning holiday will now need to carry only a simple identity card, as was the case before the UK formally departed the European Union in 2021. While non-EU nationals attending French schools will still need a passport to enter the UK on a language learning holiday, as London has scrapped the need for them to have a visa costing £115. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blessing Dixon.
And I am Blessing Dixon. In the news, the Turkish lira continued to weaken to a new record low of 29.5 per US dollar as investors became concerned that a 49% hike in minimum wage may cause fuel inflation. The government elevated the net minimum wage for 2024 to 17,200 liras, that is about 578 US dollars, aiming to alleviate living costs ahead of the municipal elections in late March, especially as inflation remains high at an annual rate of 62%. According to the central bank's projections, inflation will hit 65% by the end of the year, peak above 70% in May, and then stabilize at 36% by the close of 2024. The lira has also depreciated by over 50% against the dollar this year, ranking as the second worst performing emerging market currency following the Argentine peso. Away from that, to the energy market. WTI crude futures fell below $74 per barrel today, while the Nigeria's price benchmark, Brent crude, fell below $79 per barrel, snapping a 6-day advance as a surprise build in U.S. crude inventories overshadowed concerns about supply disruptions in the Middle East. The Energy Information Administration (EIA) data showed the U.S. crude stockpiles increased by 2.9 million barrels last week, defying expectations for a 2.3 million barrels decline. The EIA also said that U.S. crude production jumped to a record of 13.3 million barrels per day last week, up from the previous all-time high of 13.2 million barrels per day. Meanwhile, investors continued to monitor development in the Red Sea, where Houthi attacks on ships disrupted global trade. However, analysts noted that the impact on oil supply has been limited so far, as the bulk of Middle East crude is exported via the Strait of Hormuz. In Nigeria, persistent insecurity, armed conflict, and deteriorating livelihoods will continue to affect local government areas in Borno, Kaduna, Katsina, Sokoto, Yobe, Zamfara State, and the far north of Adamawa State in Nigeria until May 2024, the World Bank has predicted. This is as it disclosed through the poor macroeconomic conditions are restricting access to agricultural inputs in the country. This is set to affect cereal production in the country. The Global Bank revealed this in its latest food security update. Estimated cereal production for 2023 and 2024 crop year is expected to be 76.5 million tons in West and Central Africa, which is a 2% decrease from the previous season, but a 3% rise from the average for the last 5 years. And now the Nigerian stock market report. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 384.57 million shares in 8,336 deals corresponding to a market value of 5.66 billion naira were traded. Compared with Wednesday's trading data, today's data shows an 11% decline in volume, 56% decline in turnover, and 6% decline in deals. Meanwhile, the current market capitalization is 40.8 trillion naira. In the aggregate, 122 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 36 gainers and 27 losers. Ikeja Hotel led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 5 naira 50 kobo per share. For the losers, UAC of Nigeria came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 12 naira 15 kobo per share. Jazz Bank recorded the highest volume of 49.4 million traded shares. This is oil and business news, and back to Xavier Robert for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Still to come in the news. Mikel says Super Eagles among favorites to win AFCON. Do stay with us.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Christmas season is here again. Are you aware that making your business or products visible on the television space gives your brand a wider visibility and patronage? In the spirit of the season, Spectrum Television is offering a whopping 25% discount on all services. Advertise your products and services while this offer lasts from 1st December 2023 to January 31st, 2024. We are a television with a passion to take your business and services on a satisfactory lane. You do not want to miss this opportunity. For more enquiries, visit our city office at number 2 Taft Plaza Close off Akaitinen Road, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, or call the following numbers on your screen. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned. And now in health, a pediatric pulmonologist at the University of Ibadan, Professor Adego K. Falade, has reiterated the importance of exclusive breastfeeding for infants as part of treatments for cold. He made the recommendation during an interview with newsmen in Ibadan. Falade, who is also an honorary consultant pediatrician at the University College Hospital Ibadan, listed other treatments for the common cold to include cleaning of nasal discharge in infants and older children and administering home remedies. The pediatric pulmonologist noted that the common cold, also known as acute coryza, is very common in children and is associated with low-grade fever, sneezing, nasal discharge, and cough. Let's head over now to Isaac for latest sports stories.
Well, thank you so much, Xavier Roberts. In sports, former Nigerian captain John Obi Mikel has listed the Super Eagles among the favorites to win the title at the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations 2023. Jose Pesero's men will be gunning for a fourth crown in Ivory Coast. The West Africans had drawn in Group A with the host Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. Mikel believes the Super Eagles can challenge for the title at the competition. The Super Eagles will kick off the campaign on the 14th of January against Equatorial Guinea before facing the host 4 days later in what will be a repeat of the 2013 edition of the quarterfinals that saw them overcome Ivory Coast 2-1. They concluded the Group A campaign with a tie against Guinea-Bissau on January 22nd. We're also talking Nigerian football. There is currently tension between the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF, and the head coach of the national team, Jose Pesero, over the final squad list for the AFCON. Pesero has submitted a 25-man squad ahead of the tournament, but the NFF is putting pressure on Pesero to make it 27 players. Pesero, however, feels 25 players will be easier for him to manage instead of 27. CAF has allowed countries to name up to 27 players in the AFCON squads, but only 23 will be registered on match days. Pesero had clashed with the NFF over the original provisional list, submitting 40 players instead of 50, with the Federation wanted. The Super Eagles are due to depart to Dubai for training camp before the competition starts in January. Well, finally, from Saudi Arabia, Super Falcons defender Ashley Plumter has been nominated for the Saudi Women's Premier League Goal of the Month. Plumter was nominated for her second goal in Al Ittihad's 6-2 victory against Al Ahly. The centre-back scored a hat-trick in the first half of the game. It was her second hat-trick since linking up with Al Ittihad. It will be recalled that Plumter scored a hat-trick on a debut for the club. Tanzania's Clara Lovanga and Mexico's Veronica Perez are the other two players nominated for the award. Plumter scored 6 goals for Al Ittihad so far this season. Well, that's it on sport. My name is Isaac. Back to you, Xavier, and good evening.
Many thanks, Isaac. Now on our entertainment news, popular Nollywood actor Charles Okocha has demanded the cancellation of his ring fight with controversial singer Portable. It will be recalled that Portable defeated the actor in a celebrity boxing match fixed to settle a monetary dispute between them on Wednesday. Reacting to Portable's victory, Okocha accused the referee and the match organizers of rigging. Expressing his grievances on his social media page, the actor alleged that Portable removed his boxing gloves during the third round, an action that should have led to immediate disqualification. Still in entertainment news, Colombian superstar Shakira has been honored with the unveiling of a 6.5 meters statue in her Caribbean hometown in Barranquilla. The imposing bronze and aluminium sculpture portrays the singer in one of her famous belly dancing outfits. The 46-year-old's pose is evocative of the iconic music video for her 2006 chart-topping hit Hips Don't Lie, which featured Wyclef Jean. The unveiling ceremony took place on the banks of the Magdalena River and was attended by Shakira's parents, William Mebarak and Nidia Repo. And lastly, on entertainment tonight, National President Actors Guild of Nigeria AGN Emeka Rollas has expressed concern over the unwillingness of some Nollywood actors to subscribe to the Guild's health insurance plan for members across the country. He told newsmen today in Abuja that the Guild has substantive health maintenance organizations, HMOs, that provide standard health insurance coverage on a monthly fee and also work insurance coverage for members. The AGN helmsman, who was reacting to the trend of ailing celebrities going on social media to solicit financial help, stressed that the Guild has an existing insurance plan for members. Rollas, however, lamented that in spite of the Guild's commitment to actors' welfare, many were unwilling to sign up. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert. Bye-bye for now.